The Southwark Women's Safety Charter is a new initiative that helps clubs, pubs, bars and venues deal with, tackle and prevent harassment. Working with the National Good Night Out campaign, we've provided a dedicated training package that helps to make sure that staff, whether they're working on the bar, collecting glasses, as security or as bar managers, full-time or part-time, they all feel equally confident in responding to disclosures of sexual harassment. But what does this actually mean for you? Let's talk to Jack.
My name is Jack Stones. I'm the General Manager of the Tiger in Camberwell, which is a part of a collective of 37 pubs called Antic, and we're signed up to the Southwark Women's Safety Charter. The Women's Safety Charter has helped massively because it acts as a tool that I can point to say, you know, this is why we're zero tolerance. It takes some of the responsibility away from me, which means they argue less with me, and it gets them out faster, keeps everyone safer. My staff are sort of like the front line. This has changed the way they act in that they report sort of any and all incidents to me, and then it's up to me and my security team to sort of assess them and remove them if necessary. Knowing that these posters are about and knowing that we're signed up to the charter just means that the customers in the venue know that every incident that's reported, no matter how seemingly trivial, is going to be taken completely seriously. I recommend it to all licensed premises, I mean particularly ones with a late licence like ours, but I really can't see how it wouldn't help you regardless of your licence, regardless of who your customers are. I don't think there's really any reason not to show your female and LGBT customers that you take all these incidents seriously. It's just going to create an atmosphere of safety. I don't see why you wouldn't sign up to it.
Groping,
Grabbing,
Threats,
stalking,
verbal abuse,
flashing,
not taking no for an answer,
being homophobic,
sexual touching.
it's really anything that makes you feel uncomfortable.
It's about power and control, not flirting or banter.
The majority of those who harass or perpetrate unwanted sexual behaviour are male, and the majority of those who experience this harassment are women and people who identify as LGBT. But while it could be anyone, it is far from everyone. It's not just how men are either. This excuses harmful behaviour and insults the majority of men who would never act like this.
It's a status thing, a way of saying, I'm more powerful than you. A harasser makes a deliberate choice to cross someone else's boundaries and treat them in a demeaning way. If something makes you uncomfortable, whether it's verbal or physical, it is harassment and it's not okay. The majority of us know this and we never act like that. But we have to do more to challenge those who do.
It makes me feel really embarrassed and humiliated and just never wanting to go back to that club ever again. Especially if the bouncer, who's meant to be the security person, when they laugh at you, it really doesn't help.
One time a bouncer slapped me on the bum, and that was completely undermining in terms of me feeling safe or comfortable there, because they're the people that are meant to be looking out for you, keeping your space safe, and a bouncer doing it just made me think, I'm never going there again.
Just like the Tiger, your place of work will be displaying posters that have been specially designed to help create an environment where harassment does not go unchallenged. Together with venues around the borough, you'll be working to help create a safer space so that women know that there's a policy in place if they need some help. Posters will help get the word out, but it's how staff respond that really makes the difference. It's up to you. There are 3 key things that you can do if someone discloses to you that they've been harassed. Number 1, believe them. Believe them, or at least behave in a way that shows that you hear them. We live in a society where women's voices aren't always listened to, where they aren't always believed, and this is about challenging that. The media likes to tell us that women lie about this stuff all the time. We know that that's just not true. If someone comes up to you at the bar and discloses that they've been harassed, imagine them at the end of a 500-metre hurdle race. They've got to you having leapt over all the hurdles around, am I going to be believed? Maybe they're going to think I'm too drunk. Maybe they're going to laugh at me. The least that you can do at this point is believe them. Of course, there may be cases when things are not always what they seem. If you start from a position of belief, you'll always do more help than harm. Takeaway tip, I'm sorry that happened, is your number one fail-safe opener. Tip number 2, listen. We all like to think we're good listeners, but when we might have heard something that's shocking or upsetting to us, it's easy to fall back on the default position of going through the process. I'll go and get a manager, I don't really know what to do. What's the best way to show you're listening? Actually, giving about that long, 3 seconds worth of silence after the person has finished speaking, finished telling you whatever's gone on that night. 3 seconds of silence shows that you've heard them and that you're going to do something that makes a difference. It also helps to reduce tension for that person who might be feeling maybe a bit traumatized, in shock, really angry. It helps to calm them down without you ever having to say, calm down. Tip number 3, never assume. The best way to show that you're not making assumptions is to try and use I sentences and not you statements. So what is an I sentence? An I sentence might be something like, I'm sorry that happened. I'm going to see what I can do to help. I'm going to go and get my manager. A you statement would be something like, oh my gosh, are you okay? How much have you had to drink? You must be in shock. An I sentence says, I've listened, I've heard what you've said, and I'm going to take responsibility and work with my team to help you. A you sentence says, the onus is on you to deal with what happened to you, to take responsibility for your actions, to consider whether you might have provoked it. All of these things that don't help to support somebody at all. Remember, an I sentence, not a you statement. Dealing with the police. What about the law? Here's a quick legal quiz. Is it legal or illegal? A customer walks into the bar and A, grabs somebody's boob, B, slaps somebody's bum, C, whispers a sexually explicit comment in someone's ear, D, licks someone's face. The answer? Well, it was a trick question because technically all of these things break UK law. They're not okay. In fact, they're considered so wrong that they're all crimes in this country. So why don't we take them seriously? Here are 2 laws to be aware of. The 2003 Sexual Offences Act and the 1986 Public Order Act. Remember this next time someone tells you that a cheeky slap on the bum is not a big deal. Touching someone sexually without their consent is not okay. Has this ever happened to you at work? Have you been told to take it as a joke, that it's just part of the job? We need to challenge this. The reporting grid. This is a resource for you to use. 101 is the non-emergency number, so an officer may not attend, but you will be given a CAD number, or computer-aided dispatch. This really helps with police intelligence. Why is this important? Well, it's all about how harassers behave. We know that harassment is about pushing boundaries. And if at a licensed premises, we don't act when a harasser does something that we might think is minor or not a big deal, we know that that boundary will get pushed further. If we have venues working together, creating this intelligence, it helps the police to prevent future offending and future harassment, and potentially things that may be more serious than what happened in your venue. You can report these instances as the licensed premises where it took place, even if the person who was harassed has left. Crucially as well, this will not affect your license. We want signatory venues to be working with us to help provide this intelligence and challenge this behaviour. Takeaway tip: log all reports of harassment in your incident book, no matter how minor. Use 101 or 999 where appropriate, and remember that unwanted physical contact of a sexual nature is sexual harassment, even if it's just a slap on the bum. You can find detailed information on the reporting advice on the Women's Safety Charter website. Here are 4 things to remember then. Believe them. Listen. Never assume. Don't be afraid to call 101 or 999.